All right, you guys are taking on Connor McDavid and that blazing speed.
Oh, please.
How do you defend it?
Well, Connor McDavid, I want to keep him in front of me. I've seen him, he has too many gears. I've seen him roast a lot of defensemen because you want to have a good gap, but there's a guy that I want to back up a little more. I'd like to get Connor McDavid to drive me back, and I want to keep him in front of me and not let him use those different gears, and then I want him to actually pull up and stop because that's where I want him. I don't want him going full speed and taking me to the net. So I'm going to probably give him a little more leeway so he cannot use those different gears on me, and I'm going to try to get him on the outside and get him to pull up. Once he pulls up, now I can close on him, and he's not as dangerous. He might find the late guys coming, but you need your forwards to back check well in that instance. But that's what I would like to do because I've seen too many defensemen get beat by his speed. So I want to get up here. I want to push him to the outside. So let's say
I will get out of the way.
Yeah, you get out of the way.
Ryan's here, so I'm going to make sure I keep him in front of me, and I want to give him the outside, the outside, and I just want to wait till he runs out of space and make my turn and make him pull up. When he pulls up like this and stops, now I'm going to go close on because it's a lot easier. I have a chance maybe when I get him stopped up. Yeah. I don't have a chance when he's changing gears and blowing down the side. So if I keep him in front of me and make him pull up, now I can go close on him. That's the best way to defend Connor McDavid, but he's done this to a lot of people with that speed of his.
Yeah, and also I think a lot of times you'll hear coaches talk about gapping up. Defensemen, like Scotty's saying, you got to gap up. Well, the farther up ice you gap up, the better off you are. So you don't just have to gap up at the red line, but if you can be a defenseman and you get to your offensive blue line and you really go in deep and then you gap up and you're playing them with good gap, starting at this first blue line, red line, then the blue line, you don't have to worry about really kind of backing up too much. But with Connor McDavid, he's a guy that if you do give him wide, you want to give guys wide, he could still actually cut in on you. There's so much speed. So not many players in the world can do what he do. But the earlier the earlier you can gap up and the earlier you can kind of get in his face up ice, the more success you're going to have against him, I believe.
Gap up and always pivot to the middle of the ice defense. And when you pivot to the middle of the ice, you're taking away the most dangerous part of the ice. And now you can put people on the outside where you want them. If you come up here and I make my pivot to gap up this way, I'm leaving the whole middle of the ice away. And any good forward is going to take that middle of the ice and drive down here and get those quality shots. When you come up and you pivot to close gap, pivot to the middle of the ice, be inside those dots where those offside face-off dots are, keep everybody outside. Charlie McAvoy does a great job, McAvoy, for a young defenseman, getting guys to the outside and pivoting and having confidence at the right time and going closing the gap. Your boards are your best friend. If you can get a guy towards the boards, he can't go any farther. There are boundaries in hockey.